We're gonna go next to item number 3, the fiscal year 21 to 22 Traffic and Mobility Commissioner Work Plan.
Thank you, Chair Gokin. Just need 1 second here to change my PowerPoint slides. All right, so yes, this is the Traffic and Mobility Commission work plan for fiscal year 2021-22. So the recommendation for this item is simply the Traffic and Mobility Commission will discuss the FY 2021-22 work plan for future submittal to City Council. So this is really just intended to be kind of a working session to get your feedback and direction on what you would like to see in the next fiscal year work plan. So just a brief background, the proposed work planning includes activities the Traffic and Mobility Commission anticipates undertaking in the next fiscal year. The goal of the plan is to really encourage increased dialogue between the Traffic and Mobility Commission and the City Council, and the plan is also intended to ensure that the Commission is working in line with the Council's priorities. Just briefly read you the mission statement, just to remind you of our mission statement for the Traffic and Mobility Commission. The Traffic and Mobility Commission is committed to enhancing safe mobility for the city and its residents by using data-driven decision-making and forward-looking approach to transportation. We are transparent and do the right thing the right way. So with that, I'll just, next steps is just to hand this over to the Commission. And I think what I can do, you know, if you all can pull up, I guess it would be exhibit number 3. So I'm thinking we can just use last year's work plan as our discussion guide here, and we can just kind of take it through point by point. You know, maybe first if we can have a discussion about any overarching, you know, any major restructuring that we want to see in regards to this year's work plan. Otherwise, after that, then we can just go through. Right now, we have 3 goals, and we can just work our way through each of those 3 goals. Does that sound good to y'all?
That's a good start. So,
okay.
Do I have hands? 1. Okay, we're going to start with Commissioner Linke.
So I don't have any new things that I would want or any restructuring at all. I think the work plan in its existing state is fine, perfect. But I would like to see a timeline. So just as a quick review here, we did complete the Sustainable Mobility Plan review that was in our current work plan, but none of the other things are completed. So we have 4 items that have been in our work plan for 2 years: TIA guidelines, GMP monitoring methods, MMLOS point systems, and the traffic signal program. The first 3 of those, we're working on them, but it's sort of a very slow process. And then for this year's work plan, we added a review of the traffic impact fee program, the TDM program, and the VMT analysis guidelines, but nothing has been accomplished on that this year. And so when the City Council does these goal setting things and comes up with goals and objectives in their work plan, they use what they're calling the SMART system, which stands for, it's an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and then the T at the end is time bound. And the thought is that in this the smart time management paradigm, they say, well, if you don't set the time, then the project never gets done. So I think the work plan is perfect, but we're getting through it so slowly that it'd be nice if staff could come up with some commitments on timing for completing these things. And as the development projects that all these things impact go on, they're being approved and they continue to go into the pipeline, and they're going to fall under the current set of rules, which I think we need to revise. And so I think we're forfeiting, I said this before, I think we're forfeiting the ability to collect hundreds of thousands of dollars on mobility projects and meaningful traffic mitigation for these projects. And so it'd be difficult for me to hear that, well, we can't afford to do that, we can't afford to do that, when we could have afforded to do it if we just act more quickly. So again, I think the work plan is perfect the way it is in its current form, but we could add the T in smart. And that's all the comments I have.
Yeah, I think so. So we do intend to bring the work plan back to the commission one last time next month. So over the course of this next month, as staff, we'll go through each of these objectives and then assign some more specific time deadlines per Commissioner Linke's comments.
Okay. Any other comments? Commissioner Fowler? You are muted, Commissioner.
Sorry about that. So I'm looking through this, and so whenever you have a goal, of course, there's some kind of opportunity, or should be, or some attention to looking back and saying, well, where is that? And what did we achieve, anything? And maybe even at a higher level as to what became of that, and if it was implemented, because we have a lot of recommendations for the way the process worked. And so it kind of makes sense at some level if we set out goals, and we've had the goals for some time, to review them. And I'm not sure how it would actually work, but for example, we had an objective to propose upgrades to the city website, for example, and that's a pretty well-defined one. And we can say, yeah, they did that, and that was awesome, or they did it and they didn't do it, that wasn't what we had in mind, or whatever the conclusion was. So I'm wondering whether we should have, as part of the work plan, some kind of evaluation where there's, somehow feedback to the system. I mean, the work plan itself might be great, but if nothing ever gets achieved, then it somehow gets hidden in the discussion about, how we're doing and how's the plan going and that kind of thing. So that would be a comment that I'd have.
Okay. Any other comments from the commissioners? I agree with both commissioners. We do need to have some kind of time frame, because this way we're going to have the same goals and the same objectives every year. And also, if we do have a time frame, then it also gives us a focus to make sure that at least we achieve the most important. I think we should have them in order, or somehow prioritize them, of which ones we believe that, even if it's one out of all, which one we believe that we can achieve during that year of the goal. And then the other ones, we can still work on it, because it takes longer than 1 year, but a time frame is good. And in relation to Fowler's comments about the website that we're working on, I'm not sure, are we continuing, because of the COVID, and we were able to film and record and make this public on a recording, that we were not able to do that in person. Are we able to continue having that even after we return? I'm not sure if staff had a discussion yet about this, or if that, I believe it was one of our goals or discussions that we had, right?
Yeah, it was under the enhanced transparency goal. Definitely to provide those video recordings. I have not heard, if we're going to continue the video beyond, when we are back into in-person meetings at this point. Ellie, have you heard anything in that regard?
I might be wrong. So what I heard is that we will continue with the recordings and the video after, we go back to the council chambers. But let me get that answer for sure. Like, it is a goal. We'll continue.
Mr. Frank?
Yes, I'd just like to add that we take our lead from the city clerk's office, and we'd want to just be uniform with what the way they're handling all the commissions. So we can get you that information as soon as available.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay. So any other comments, any other suggested changes to the work plan? And are we happy? So Commissioner Linke, would you like to change the wording on it, or is Nathan gonna put a time frame, or how are we gonna go? What's the next step?
It's my understanding that staff would be providing an initial take on proposed timeframes, and then we would let the commission respond to those next month when you conduct your final review. But if there are specific revisions in terms of wording, it would be helpful if you could let us know now so we could prepare for that.
Okay. Anyone has specific, or they want to see Commissioner Linke?
Yeah, I think the current wording is fine. There's the traffic signal program. I'm not sure what the wording should be on that. I know there's some project going on where each of the intersections in Carlsbad is being studied. So it'd be nice for the commission to review that. I think we changed the language on that last year from the first year, but we still haven't seen it. I'm not sure exactly what that should be called, but you might tweak that if it needs tweaking.
Okay. So we're making a motion to approve this, but you are going to bring it next month again? Final?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
Vice Chair Perez, would you like to make a motion, please? I think you're muted. Let me see if I can hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, I would like to make a motion for the Traffic and Mobility Commissioners to approve the fiscal year 2021 work plan for future submittal to City Council.
Commissioner Linke?
I think we're just sending it back to staff, right? I propose that we should say that we approve of the current language, but are adding a request for time scale, and then bring it back to us next month for final recommendation.
So said by Commissioner Linke.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Ellie, was that kind of confusing, or should I repeat it?
No, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. So let's
Commissioner
go for a
Wanamaker?
vote.
Yeah. Commissioner Wanamaker?
Aye.
Commissioner Link?
Aye.
Commissioner Fowler?
Aye.
Commissioner Pensiers?
Aye.
Commissioner Hunter?
Aye.
Vice Chair Perez?
Yay.
Chair Goken?
Yes. Please note that it passed unanimously.